Workshop at the Holocaust Museum and Education Center on March 17, 2017.
The Asia Minor and Pontus Hellenic Research Center teamed up with the Illinois Holocaust Museum for a workshop on the genocide of Greeks of Asia Minor. A group of nearly 50 teachers from Chicago area middle schools and high schools received what they described as an eye-opening lesson about the genocide of the Greeks of Asia Minor at the hands of the Ottoman Turks. The group was part of a one-day workshop at the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center. Kelly Zaney, who is Director of Education for the center, noted,
So the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center was so excited to be able to bring this workshop to our educators today. For years we've been doing professional development for teachers on the Holocaust, but also contemporary genocide issues. I've known George Mavropoulos for years and the great work of the Hellenic Research Center. So to be able to share what I think is an incredibly important history with one of the first genocides of the 20th century with our educators was really important to us as not only a museum and memorial, but also as an educational center.
I really like to point out page 11 where there's a 5-day lesson plan, very brief. So again, if you don't have the time to incorporate all of the material, you can break this up into smaller sections. A lot of the lessons can very well stand on their own.
What we have done is we asked permission from those two institutions. And we have some graduate students from UIC that they are working on the project to collect and edit all these articles. We ask for permission, of course, for publication rights. And the intent here and the project is to gather all those articles, documents and so on, and have them upload them on our website. People, researchers from all over the world can go to our site and on the research site. So I'm hoping that in several months from now to be ready for that. And this is going to be an exciting, kind of a task, because what we need is to reach the English-speaking or those who are looking for research.
We're very pleased, first of all, by the number of educators. We had between 40 and 50. Second, by the enthusiasm that they showed. We were able to go over content, and a lot of them admitted they knew very little, or if anything, about the Greek genocide, and they were very grateful to receive the information. We talked about pedagogy, about how to teach, and we had people participate with ideas of their own, which is always encouraging. That meant that they were more likely to try something. So overall, it was a very positive workshop.
how are you going to incorporate everything you learned today into your teaching next year?
So normally the cumulative project that my students work on as they receive individualized genocide projects. So they work with 2 or 3 other students, and they're assigned different genocide projects. So for instance, like the Sudan Darfur genocide, the Cambodian genocide, the Armenian genocide. So one of the ones that I'm going to merge with the Armenian genocide is the Greek genocide, because I tend to leave that part of it out. So it will be a great source of information for them.
Your mother was the only survivor of a family of 15, including grandparents, siblings, aunts, uncles. What was that thing that kept her going?
Well, I think it's what keeps most people going is, a need to survive, or, the will to survive. I think, and she says that, she wanted to live. And this is part of our DNA. All animals, even flowers and weeds, everything wants to live, survive. And this is part of, with her also, she just wanted to survive.
Your mother lost her family, her community, including her name. Speak to us a little bit about how she described this moment of losing her identity to you.
Well, when she was left with a woman in this little village, her mother left her to save her life because they were all dying. All her children were dying. So she left my mother with an Assyrian woman. And the woman promised to take good care of her, but of course, once my grandmother was out of the picture and once she heard she died, she realized nobody's going to come to take her back. And she treated her basically like a slave. And one day she said, I can't pronounce that name of yours, you know, I'm going to give you a real name. And so she gave her the name of Sano. And at first my mother said she didn't respond, but then of course it just became Sano. And it was one of the last things taken away. She had lost her community, she lost her home, she lost finally her country, she lost her family, of course, and then finally she even lost her name. And this is the reason why I named the book Not Even My Name, because nothing else was left to her, not even her name.